Hi RCIA, welcome to segment 3. Can you believe it? 3 days in a row I'm in the same spot and wearing the same shirt. No, I did them all on one day, but we're breaking this up for you. Let's take a look at page 10. Again, if you do not have your book, remember the drill. Put me on pause, go get your book, and come on back. Page 10 starts with a section on renewal. And thinking again, it's going to talk about this, what I've said in the last couple segments for you is that the first part of this book was all an examination of conscience to prepare yourself for Lent and to really kind of think about where my strengths are, where my weaknesses are, and prepares you for going to the sacrament of reconciliation. What do I feel sorry for? What do I want to tell God that I'm sorry for, that I really want to correct or make better in the upcoming days, upcoming weeks, upcoming years of my life, so that I'm prepared for heaven? The beginning of page 10 is going to ask you to open up to the Gospel of Matthew. Last week on Sunday, we practiced opening up the Gospel and opening up the Bible and finding different chapters, different books and verses. So you're going to look through chapter 6 of Matthew and read over 1 through 6 and 16 through 18. When you come back after that, you're going to take a look at that question, or that little question in there that talks about this being a part of the Ash Wednesday Mass. This is the gospel that you would hear. Okay? And it's going to start to talk about 3 pillars of Lent: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Page 11 begins to give you some of the bullet points and the bold print as this really important pieces of prayer during Lent. And then on the top of page 12, it also will ask if you have some other ideas of forms of prayer that you'd like to try. In the brainstorm box there, that's where you want to write those ideas down. Consider any of those options, anything that comes to mind. Silence might be a big one for you. Maybe you don't sit in silence. Maybe when it's time for prayer, you typically take your rosary beads out, or you typically say an Our Father, or you turn to the scripture. Maybe those are things that are pretty regular. So maybe trying to sit in silence for 5 minutes just to listen to God is something you'd like to try. Or maybe reading scripture has not been a part of your daily prayer routine. And so maybe opening up the scripture to read the daily gospel is going to be something you'd like to try. Use that brainstorm box to write down anything that comes to mind. You're not set, and this is not a set in stone promise at this point. This is a brainstorm box for you. Okay, go ahead and do the same thing for fasting, which is on page 12 and goes through to page 13. Gives you a bunch of bullet points of things that are things to kind of think about in your head, or things that maybe we abuse or just overindulge in, to use a better word maybe. Thinking about this as a standpoint of it, again, not being just the 40 days of Lent, but something that can go on for you as a kind of cleaning up our act to make ourselves better, to improve ourselves, to lift ourselves up to heaven. Top of page 14 is going to give you the brainstorm box for that again. Go ahead and write those pieces in there. Finally, in the third box is almsgiving, and it's breaking up almsgiving into time, talent, and treasure. So take a look at those 3 pieces and think about what you'd like to do there. Okay, that's stewardship. That's taking what God has given to us and giving it back to others. So thinking about the gifts that we've received from Him, and how can we give of ourselves to those around us who are in communion with us, who together we're all working on getting to heaven. We can enter into heaven while we're here on earth, but we have to be grafted to the vine. I think we talked about that in RCIA when we were working on those baptismal promises, that Jesus is the vine and we are the branches. Think about that image. The branch is connected to Him. The branch gets all of its food and all of its fuel from that vine. That's important. I'm looking at the clock and I need to go get my kiddos. So I'm going to give you a second piece that's going to have a short little snippet of a story that's going to help you to think about these 3 things. In the meantime, go ahead and start brainstorming in those boxes. Work through this piece, and then you can come back to the 4th video if you want right away, or maybe brainstorm a bit and then go back to it. But I think it will help you to have some ideas of how we're all on this journey together and helping you to have the most fruitful Lent ever, so that you are prepared even more to that ascend on that journey to heaven. See you soon.